Your
eon
mic
ago.
would make you go robotic. My mic would just make me go,
Really loud.
I was going to say, what do we call that? Aggro or just manic or I don't know. And it's gone now. That used to be a staple of the show. Well, no, it never happened on the podcast.
Yeah,
It only happened on
the
live streams.
streams. Yeah.
I think
I
we
don't know
figured out
why.
that was a Google related thing. It had like this auto correct gain feature thing that it used to do. And now it's gone. It had my mic had a Twitter account and everything at one point.
Yeah, that's probably rotting in hell right now. Poor little guy.
As it should. Elon Musk cleaned out that it was one of the bots.
Bots.
Little known fact that my rogue AI microphone was one of the bots that Elon was really upset about. He had to get rid of it, so that one's gone.
Yeah, it made some crude joke about Grimes, and he just got really upset about it. So.
Honestly, just between you and me, if that mic was going to make a joke, it wouldn't be a Grimes joke. It would be a what the fuck did you name your kid joke.
Well, that's everybody. That poor kid. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna take over the lead here because I started talking first. But hey. So when we it's been a while, and then we recorded an episode, and like literally the next day there was an announcement. So hey, welcome to that rare 0.5 episode. Here we are.
We're back. We're just back. Gave you one after 3 months, and then we're like, let's do another one. We're on a roll.
We're generous, and we feel bad. That we don't know when the next one is, so we gotta talk about the next one's in 3 months. I don't know.
It's a feast of plenty for right now. That's what's going for us right now.
No kidding. So if you did not hear, Mark Darrah came back to Bioware. That's not quite how it's happening, but he's working on Dragon Age Dreadwolf again. So I think the original article was from VentureBeat, and I don't know how they heard about it, and they I don't know what the chain of events here where VentureBeat got that scoop, but they did, and they contacted Bioware. At least that's what I got. They contacted Bioware and got a statement from Gary McKay, essentially, which he's the general manager of Bioware, and they essentially said, yeah, he's back, cool. And then Darrah himself posted a video on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I have a question / thought about how this story ended up at VentureBeat as well, but we can get to that. That's not necessarily the lead of this whole thing, but we can talk about that in a second. Remember when I made that joke about the Titanic?
Oh my god, are we going back to the Titanic? Oh my god. Wait, one day when Dragon Age comes out, we're gonna have like those super cut together to like see how your little Titanic metaphor has gone on all these years.
It's as so the joke. I mean, I assume if someone's listening to this, I assume we have a dedicated audience and maybe some new people as well. But if you had not heard, when Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah, they left basically on the same day in the same announcement. So that's two of the major leaders and veterans of Bioware. Mark Darrah, of course, executive producer on Dragon Age. Casey Hudson, the longtime creative director of Mass Effect, and then the head of the studio.
Which I'll interject real quick. Darrah has said, and who knows if he's telling the truth or not, I'm going to take him at his word, that was apparently coincidence. They didn't know each other were quitting at the same time.
Oh. Well, what's the most respectful way that I can say to Mr. Darrah? Bullshit. Well, no, of course I have no idea, and he probably is telling the truth, but it stretches, what's the term, incredulity, imagination? It's hard to believe.
Well, I can believe that at face value of they didn't know each other were quitting, and they, at the same time. But I would imagine that there maybe is also a secret reason why both of them left at the same time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Maybe that happened. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think I ever. No, I did know that. I think I maybe we even talked about it at one point.
Oh, maybe. This was a while back ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were interrupting. I interrupted you. Your Titanic metaphor.
What about the? Oh yeah, right. Well, Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah leave at basically the same time, and to me, the joke at the time was, we started a podcast focused entirely on Bioware, and now two of the major creative leads at Bioware are leaving. It's as though we started a radio show about the journeys of the Titanic.
Yeah.
But it, because that fucking boat's not supposed to come out of the water. And now half the boat is kind of back out of the water, I guess. I don't know. That's part of my question about this whole situation of him returning as a consultant. He's not coming back in the capacity in which he left. He's not the executive producer, leader of the Dragon Age team, because there are other people now leading the team. He's coming back as a consultant.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when Darrah left, he then kind of at the same time started like a YouTube channel explaining game dev and stuff called, well, it's had a couple names. I think it's currently called Mark Darrah on Games. But and then he also does consulting for like indie and AAA titles. I think he has done other games, but like I don't, at least I think he's alluded to it. He hasn't like come out publicly like this. And then just this is just one of his clients, and he just happens to be their former employee. So it's not like he got his old job back. It's just like he's now just a consultant on it. Yeah. And it for some reason I heard thrown around that he's on for 6 months. Did I make that up? Are people making that up? Is that a thing that's somewhere? Because I don't remember that in the article.
I am control effing the article right now.
Yeah. I don't
That sounded dirtier than I meant it to. I'm sorry.
I'm control effing the article.
People know what it means.
I know.
They know what it means.
But I didn't think it was dirty, so it just came out of nowhere.
Well, if my mom ever listens to this show, which she never has and never will, and now I've made sure that it's safe because nobody can misconstrue what I said.
My mom one time, I guess she like watched watched one of our shows, and she called me one day. It's like, that Jordan guy cusses a lot. I'm like, Mom, do you listen to me? Like, what are you talking about?
I remember.
Who is that guy, Caitie?
I remember you told me that, and I was like, oh no, Caitie's mom doesn't approve of me.
I'm sure if she met you, you would be fine because, like, here's the thing. Where did little Caitie learn all those words?
I really felt
my mom.
See, my mom never cusses. That's really the thing, too.
That's my dad, weirdly enough. It's my mom that curses like a sailor.
Update. I have not found anything in the article about a 6-month term to Mark Darrah's consulting contract. So is that... Did he say that in the video, and maybe I just not remembering it?
I don't remember that. No, I don't remember that. I maybe I just made that up, and people were throwing it around on Twitter. I don't know. So don't quote me on that. That could be completely fake. But yeah, I did quickly pull out a quote from his video on what he's doing. Like, he's not the executive producer, what he's doing, and the quote is, "I'm coming back to use my experience on the first 3 games on the franchise to make sure that this game is respectful of the legacy and integrates into the franchise effectively." I botched reading it, but that's it. I also typed it out like an idiot and said into freights, but whatever. So yeah, I guess his role, at least on publicly that they're saying, is to like make sure that Dragon Age 4 gels with the others, which my immediate reaction is, do any of the Dragon Age franchises gel with each other?
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting.
Like, not to say that there isn't some like intense background stuff and that's what he's talking about, from like all of the games look different, play different, feel different, different tones. Like, it is all over the place. So like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's something else he's there for, and that's like the business answer. I don't know, you know. So I like, I'm not saying like, oh, bullshit. Like, I just think that this doesn't accurately describe what's going on. That's my read on it. You know what I mean?
It is an interesting read because I had a totally different gut level reaction.
Oh, what's yours then?
Well, my gut level reaction was, he said that he's there to make sure that the newest iteration, Dreadwolf, gels with, I believe he said, is respectful to the franchise overall.
Mm-hmm.
And so my gut level reaction was, is it not in its current form? Maybe that's a cynical read on my part. But,
okay.
you know, are they bringing him in because on some level it's not. And of course, we do this all the time. We're speculating. He kind of said what he's doing, but we're speculating anyway because what the heck, why not, quite frankly. So yeah, that was my gut level reaction was, are you bringing in a consultant to, because that's in many industries typically what you do. You bring in a consultant specifically to fill a gap, right? To do something that maybe is being done, but it's not being done quite to the level that you would like. Especially, I mean, most companies at this point in time, I imagine EA is not any different. They're pretty cost sensitive right now. So you don't bring in consultants if you can avoid it, right? You have people staffed to do these sorts of things. You really bring them in to fill a need, not a nice to have, but a need. That's typically the role of a consultant.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't thought of that.
So I just wonder, right? It's like if you can avoid bringing in the consultant, you typically do. As gamers, as fans, we think, oh, it's super neat because he's back and he's such a big name, certainly to Bioware and Dragon Age fans. But from a business standpoint, I'd say you probably try to avoid any added cost at this point if you can, unless you really need it and you feel like, hey, and by no means am I saying it wouldn't be worth it. I think it's 100% going to be worth it for them to do it. It's probably, you think about it, he's the best consultant you could possibly hire.
Yeah, because like he's been on the franchise for every moment except for the past. God, when he was it? It wasn't last. Well, not 2022, but was it 2021 or was it 20? It wasn't 2020, was it? Fuck, I forget what time it was.
The last 3 years have blurred together into one super year for me.
I 100% agree, and I feel like it's been that way for everybody.
Yeah. We're in the fourth quarter of 2020 finally.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, what's the? Well, this is just a whole other topic. But what's the first year that's gonna feel different? I genuinely don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's blurring together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, but by no means would I ever insinuate that it's not. It's a fantastic idea. Let me put that, like, not bury the lead. This is a great idea. You should absolutely bring in Mark Darrah to be a consultant. He is the best return on investment you could possibly get for any consultant for goddamn Dragon Age. Like, it doesn't get any better than this if you're going to hire a consultant.
Now, I at least another take I saw thrown around my Discord. Sorry whoever said this. I don't have the time to look it up, but someone was saying that they thought maybe he was coming back to like help guide the new the new leadership team into like shipping a game and like how to prioritize like the tasks that still need to be done. Because apparently, like, he's really good at like task management, and that's the reason he was brought on to Anthem, and just to get that game out the fucking door. And that's been kind of a problem with Dragon Age, because how many years has this been? TikTok. But and
Right.
which another important thing in the article was that they also have the Mass Effect team now working on Dragon Age, so it is now like, here is the go time. This is the polishing stage. Like, this is like, it's soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know when, but the writing on the wall is suspiciously like, the winds of change are coming. I can sniff a game coming out. So like yeah, I think that's also plausible. Where like, this is a team that maybe I have not looked it up. I'll say that. I don't know if the new leadership team has shipped a game like in this level before. So maybe he's come in to like just make sure everything's cool and then gets it out the door. I don't know. Or maybe they have and I'm talking bullshit. But yeah, I, I guess how's your read on this? Like, are you excited? You're a little hesitant. How do you feel?
I mean, so first of all, to comment on the Darrah as a closer theory,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any evidence for it, but it sounds like a strong theory to me if you really think about it. He has been known for this strength of making decisions down the stretch to start to close stuff out and to start to, like, basically get it ready to ship down the stretch, so to speak. So that makes sense to me, at least as an out of the box theory. Whether or not there's that much truth to it, I mean, he didn't mention it at all in his video. It could still be the case. I mean, the truth is, once he's there and consulting and having conversations with the team, who's to say that he doesn't offer some suggestions? Maybe not him as the decision maker, but to your point, giving some guidance to the people who are ultimately going to be the decision makers in those leadership roles, and maybe they glean some of that wisdom similar to the way that they did when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a good thing. So I would say that at least somewhat makes sense. The leadership team that they reference is Corinne Bush, Benoit Hole, hopefully I said his name right, John Epler, and then, well, talking about saying names correctly,
Yeah.
Karowski is the last name. I'll give that a shot. My apologies. But John Epler was part of the team on Inquisition, but I don't know if he was in a leadership role at that time.
He was narrative director, I thought.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
certainly an important role in the leadership team. So I would say, like, they've done this before, but it certainly can't hurt to have Mark Darrah around. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the headline of it, is that there's no way this could be bad. That's impossible, right? Like, there's just no way this could be a bad thing.
Which I will say real quick, the four, Corinne's new. She was from the Sims team. Been Mr. Hool. I'm so terrible with French names. I'm sorry, but apparently, he joined Bioware in 2006, so he's been there a while. And then the other guy. God, I'm so bad with names. How long has he? Oh, I have to join LinkedIn. Fuck you, LinkedIn. Fuck you. Okay. Oh, he got a beard. Damn. Good on him. Okay, I'm gonna link you this beard now because it's pretty long. Hold on. Where's our Google chat?
Mache is the pronunciation.
Mache.
Okay.
I
Googled it.
That's a good thing to do because I feel bad not saying it. Okay. There's a Bioware blog on him, and I have way too many tabs open. Has been around in the games industry for 13 years, Bioware for 6. So they've all been there. So Corinne's really the newest, but she's been at EA for a while. So yeah, they like at least 3 of the 4 have been on Bioware for at least 6 years. You know, I think Epler's been here since Origins, maybe. But yeah,
John Epler's definitely. I think John Epler is the name that I know as having been around Dragon Age the most. But that's just my memory. I'm just going off of memory. I mean, Mark Darrah did say, he made a point of referencing the fact that they have a strong leadership team already, and that's probably the most direct statement we're ever going to get on how much he's helping the leadership team. Because you think about it, right? It's like if you're Gary McKay, let's say, or other folks at EA, you want the appearance of total confidence in the people who are actually manning those posts, right?
Yeah.
The guy who used to be the man in that post coming back as a consultant, again, there's no way it could be a bad thing, but whatever. There's someone out there who's going to tweet a tweet about how it looks. You know what I mean? So you probably just want to bolster the confidence of those people in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't read this as the current leadership is incompetent at all. It's more just like, does EA not want to take a chance on like a newer dev team and are hoping that, because the last couple BioWare games have been something and they really want this to be a success, so they're just doing all that they can to make sure that happens, and bringing back the guy who shipped the last 3 games, 2 of which are critically acclaimed. Maybe that's a good idea. So I guess that's what I read it as. Not that the leadership team is bad at all. Just like business people worry about everything. So.
Sure, yeah, and as well, I mean, whoever makes that decision ultimately, I assume it's Gary McKay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, as a leader, provide your team with whatever resources they say they need.
Mm-hmm.
And so certainly, if someone on the team said, maybe this game is not fully gelling with the franchise in whatever way, that could be from gameplay, that could be from story, it could just be tone, the iconography of the, it's not incorporating something that is distinctly Dragon Age enough. If the team is expressing that and you can deliver a resource to them that helps, then you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say there was one bit of verbiage that maybe it's incidental, but there's a part of the article, the VentureBeat article that originally broke this story, that says, speaking of Mark Darrah, right? He was a former developer, executive producer, et cetera, left with Casey Hudson in December of 2020. And then it says, quote, he recently approached Bioware about returning, and the team thought it was an opportunity to bring back a seasoned veteran, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
He recently approached Bioware about returning, which is really quite curious, huh?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, kudos to Mark Darrah. That's a smart move.
Because get that bag.
Well, yeah, and as I said earlier, right, he's the best possible consultant you could ever hire. So I know he's mentioned on his YouTube channel, that, and as you mentioned, right, that's what he's doing kind of as his, I guess, day job, you could call it, in addition to doing a YouTube channel 2 times a week. And so if that's what you do, that's got to be the easiest pitch that he's done so far, because he is, in fact, the world class, the best Dragon Age consultant in the world, bar none. So it would make sense. And again, if the way it phrased it is he approached Bioware. Well, if he's approaching Bioware and you're Gary McKay or whoever, and you've heard some things on the team about the game not gelling with the franchise in whatever way, however that might manifest, it's like, well, you can deliver a resource to your team.
Yeah.
And it can help. So, again, I have a hard time imagining this being anything other than a good move.
Now, here's another thing I'm wondering. Why this is, I guess, coming back to something you mentioned earlier. Why have a press release about this? It's not, maybe not a press release. Maybe VentureBeat just found it out and they're just like, okay, this is a thing now. But, like, I don't know. Like, why? I guess you had something you wanted to say about, like, how this article got published.
Well, and again, it's pure speculation, and neither of us know anything in particular about this, but either, you laid it out, right? Those are the two things. Either EA decided to reach out to a person of the press, say, hey, we're just going to talk about this. It probably, in the eyes of most people, this is probably going to be considered good press, right? Like, universally. I don't think anyone's going to try and spin this as a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. It's the internet. Someone will say the game's in trouble and that's why they're bringing it back. So someone will say that. But for the most part, it's a good thing.
We kind of basically said that at the beginning, didn't we?
I wouldn't say, like, no, the game might, how do I put this most succinctly? You made a good point, which is that have any of the games really gelled together?
Mm-hmm.
I could make the argument Dragon Age Inquisition doesn't gel with 1 and 2 in certain respects, but it's a badass game.
Yeah.
So Dragon Age Dreadwolf could be nothing like the other games, totally not gel with the franchise, and it could be Game of the Year, like Dragon Age Inquisition was.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say that it's that the game is struggling, but the franchise, continuity, feel aspect of it, they wanted to bolster that up in some way, let's say. But yeah, as for how the story came out, like, either they wanted to get the story out there, or, like you said, someone was talking to VentureBeat anyway. VentureBeat came out to request comment. And if you're EA at that point, you're like, well, if we don't comment, then it's really going to look, as the kids say, sus.
I just didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah, neither did I, to be honest. And so you give him a comment and you say, yeah, Mark's back, et cetera, nice words about him, nice words about the team. And you can play this as a very positive story.
Yeah.
But for a second, I was leaning towards they put this out. Like, EA wanted to, like, hey, we have a story. We want to announce this.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we've been discussing it and reading it, and especially that I see that maybe it was him who approached them, maybe not, but the net effect is the same either way. They're not going to not respond to comment. I mean, they commented for the story, so.
May I have another interpretation? EA didn't approach VentureBeat. Darrah did. Because if he's starting a consulting business, this is the best publicity you can get.
I don't think this can pick up on the mic here. Let me see if I can.
I hear your hands rubbing.
I am rubbing my hands together.
No, frankly, that's kind of if that is what happened, I think that's a very smart move. Like, hey, I started this YouTube channel to get advertisement for this consulting business. It hasn't really taken off as much as I want to, so I'm going to approach Bioware. Says, hey, guys, I'm trying to get my feet on the ground here. Do you mind helping me out? He's worked with these people for at least since Origins, and that's almost 20 years, and they're like, yeah, sure, buddy, come on in, like, we can use you for something, we got you, bro. And he I don't know, calls up VentureBeat and says, hey, we're doing this thing, I'm gonna be back, let's start a statement. And Twitter's all buzz, and he had a video come out saying, yeah, I do consulting for indie and AAA, and I'm going to be on here for a little bit, and here's how things are going to change, how his side of whatever. That's, I don't know, yeah, if this is all just to get his consulting thing off the ground, good for him. I hope it works. This is a terrible time to start a indie business.
You nailed it. I like, this is my favorite theory. I am now subscribing to this theory. This is fantastic.
Honestly, I kind of want that to be true, because yeah, go for it, man. Get that little indie business going. I hope you do well. You break away from the man.
And what a sad, the way that you laid it out, I just want that to be his master plan behind the scenes, because that is such an effective, it's totally going to work. It's already working. Like you said, Twitter's a buzz. VentureBeat's happy for the story because it is kind of a noticeable attention-grabbing headline.
Mm-hmm. And how many other people have ran with that story? That Mark Darrah is now a consultant. That is his job now.
Right. He's just, and he had the video kind of ready to go in a way.
It was about 24 hours. It was long enough that I could believe that it took a minute for him to make it. But maybe.
I like this theory a lot. The only thing we need now is one of those kind of the lawyer commercials where Mark Darrah is 1-800 game consultant Mark Darrah.
No, the lawyer ones are those terrible. I feel there's three categories. There's the lawyer ones where in front of a bookcase and have you had mesothelioma or whatever the fuck. And then you got the used car salesman, and then you got the people that sell used furniture in your local town. Where which one do we want to go with here? Did you die?
I was accidentally muted. Sorry. Okay. We've only been podcasting for 5 years. I forgot how to fucking do this.
I mean, it's been 3 months,
Do you know who Jim Adler is?
Not by name. Is that the TikTok lawyer guy?
I don't know if he's on TikTok or not, but he's a Texas attorney. And he has rather rambunctious TV commercials that air, I'm sure, only in Texas.
Oh, yeah, I looked him up. This is not who I was thinking of. Okay. I like the sledgehammer.
Yeah, he's the Texas Hammer. I think that's what he calls himself, or some such thing like that. It's a lot to explain, but he's got this whole commercial with 444 444. His whole fucking number is just a bunch of fours, and he's yelling it. He's the only number you got to remember is 4, and I just want Mark Darrah to do a commercial like that.
Why not, I guess.
It'd be fantastic. But no, your theory is it's a very good theory. I hope that's what happened, and more power to him, because that's a badass move. That's a power play move.
Yeah, and I guess here's another thing. Whoever, the devs at Bioware, they've come out in support of him coming back. So people seem to like him. So that's also another thing of the fans are excited to see him. People that work in the dev are hey, you're back, buddy, and I can't wait to meet you. It's an all around people just excited to see him again. It's a great not resume, when you call people up to say if you're a shit worker or not. What's that called?
Wait, was it what?
What's oh man, when you're interviewing for a reference. There you go, references.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I haven't applied a job in a while.
I, I have not seen the dev tweets, but it's okay. So I kind of want to ask. I wanted to ask about that in a way. My other question that I wanted to ask you is: are you surprised?
That he's coming back?
Yeah, just that this has happened.
Yes and no. Yes, because I didn't expect. I thought he just wanted to move on and do whatever. I guess I'm not surprised at I don't really want to like speculate on like financial status or anything, but like he started consulting business at kind of like the worst time to consult, like start any business ever.
Sure.
Like this has been a really rough year for that. So like, yeah, like if that's what he needs, to get some cash, like yeah, hey, yeah, I get it. It's rough. As for like this everything else, I don't know, and like yeah, Dragon Age seems to be, I don't want to say wrapping up, but like we seem to be getting further along. Like there's that new comic series that keeps The Missing, which actually as of we're recording this, there's number 3 is coming out tomorrow or tonight, however you want to count it. That keeps being sold as the lead up to Dragon Age 4, and like we haven't had anything released like that yet. So that's kind of interesting. Like we're getting more verbiage of things happening soon. Like today there is, well, I mean, it was accidentally announced earlier, but they officially announced it today that there is a Dragon Age soundtrack vinyl thing that's going to be released in December of this year with cover art we've never seen before. So like, okay, that's kind of intriguing. And like there's a cookbook coming out at the end of 2023. Like there's a lot of like new Dragon Age merch that's kind of coming out at the end of this year, which I find suspicious. So like I think things are happening, man. We might actually see something substantial this year, and I don't know. I don't know.
I buy it. I mean, I think that you're not off when you say that, right? Like all of those wheels starting to spin means something is happening. Like the apparatus of marketing is happening.
Oh boy, yeah. So I guess I don't know what else to add on Darrah coming back other than just like, yeah, especially since the article was like, yeah, the Mass Effect team's now on the Dragon Age, development team. Like, hey, this put on that clown makeup, guys. This is the best time to start honking.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised as fuck that this happened. I'd be totally honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
I never would have called this at all. Like, Mark Darrah was walking through the snow. He started a YouTube channel. Like, I was like, this is retirement, Mark Darrah, and I'm still all for it. I think his YouTube channel is fantastic. I think he makes great videos, and sure, he was going to consult because why wouldn't he consult? He's got so much experience. But to come back to consult for BioWare on Dragon Age, if someone had said you got to pick one that's more likely to happen, he comes back to consult on the game that he started off as the executive producer on, or 10 years from now, he's consulting on some future project at BioWare. I go, yeah, probably more the second one.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would have said that's more likely. So the fact that this ended up happening, totally surprising. Like I said, half the boat has come back out of the water. Nobody was going to call that one. We're scrambling back to our old timey microphones to restart the radio show.
Now, I will say, I can't remember what the context was, unfortunately, but there was at one point where we already made the joke where the boat came back out of the water. And I don't remember what it was, but I thought we said that. So I feel like it's not quite the boat's coming out of the water. It's just the zombie captain climbed his way up on board and says, "I'm back, guys!"
I think it was the next episode. Yeah, that's what it was. The very next episode, something dropped that was very was it one of the teasers?
It was the teaser. Oh, it was the teaser, or they decided that it wasn't going to be multiplayer anymore. I think it was one of those.
Yeah, and then we clapped. And we were happy or something.
Yeah, we did the seal noise. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Do you think the team is surprised?
I don't know. Maybe they saw it coming, or like they knew. Honestly, the most of the reactions I saw on Twitter from people that work at that there were like, "Glad to have you back," or they were joking that when he ends meetings, he's going to end them with like and subscribe, and then gifs of the room that say, "Oh, hi, Mark." So it was mostly just memes. It was mostly just memes, which to me that's not really surprise. That's just like, hey, we can joke about it now.
Right.
So I'm going to say no. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people were, but I think like this has been known for a little while, to them at least.
Right. That's probably true in all respects.
Yeah. Well, now what?
I don't know. This has been. I definitely did not think that this would happen. Do you think Mark Darrah is surprised?
Do you think? Are we just gonna go down the line? Do you think Casey Hudson's surprised?
Casey Hudson's definitely surprised. He's the most surprised. He's turning around in that chair wearing a turtleneck, holding a coffee cup. He's going.
I'm surprised. That's what he's saying right
and he
now.
just turns back around on the chair, and that's it.
That's in the lawyer commercial. Turns around. I'm surprised, and then turns back. No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Yeah, everyone's surprised.
So yeah, no, I think that's probably it. We've covered the fact that Darrah has returned. It's a good thing. Everybody's surprised. And you're right. I agree that. How did you put it earlier? The winds of game, or what is it?
The winds of game. I don't know. Oh, the winds have changed. We can sniff the game by now. Is that
something? Yeah, this is something. We can smell the game's in the air. I agree. Something to that effect is definitely happening, and that's good. I'm tentatively excited. The layers of cynicism rust perhaps started to crack slightly because it's happening at some point that's no longer several years into the future.
Okay. I have a question that's completely unrelated. Well, mostly unrelated. All right. You're watching whatever game show or whatever, and you see that Bioware logo come on, and you watch the Dragon Age Dreadwolf trailer. How do you feel? Like,
that's
are you excited?
Great question. Holy shit!
How do you feel? And let's even say at the end it says coming, and it gives a fucking date, Jordan.
Oh, there's no way they would give us a date. They would give maybe like Christmas and the year, not like a hard date. You don't think?
Okay, yeah, I don't think a hard date, but like maybe like they say 2024 or something like that. You know,
that is on like no bullshit. That's a great question, and the reason why I say it's literally a great question is because I just don't fucking know. Like I can't. It's so hard. So I guess this is like such a like cop out answer, but like it totally depends on what's in that trailer.
I mean, that's true. I guess for me, it's like it just doesn't. It's been so long, it doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I'm so used to the waiting, I can't imagine anything else.
It's like I can see a version where they roll that trailer, it ends, and I'm like, okay, all right, cool. You know, that's the trailer. So now we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna do all that, and it's like it's totally just a standard. We're going to talk about it on the podcast. You know, the people in the Bioware community are going to tweet crazy stuff about it, and that's what it is. But we've already kind of had moments like that with the teasers and what have you.
Yeah, I feel like the very first one from 2018, we were so fucking hyped. Like it aired and we immediately live streamed our reaction to it, just yelling about it, and we have never done that since.
And well, not just that, but like it wasn't just us at that point either, right? Like we went live, and I think there were thousands of people watching us for a second.
Oh yeah, it was our most popular live stream by far, because people that don't even watch us are like, "Holy shit, it's real, it's happening!" And then like 4 years later,
wow,
six, Jordan, it's almost 6 years later.
For you to say it like that, it's been that many years since that. Like, not even like we've stopped counting from Dragon Age Inquisition, because that just makes everybody feel old to say it's almost been 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
But from that teaser trailer, for it to have been that long is absolutely wild. It's so weird that, again, that question that you asked is a great question, because I can see the version where it's a totally blasé reaction for me, but I think there is a percentage chance, depending on what's in that trailer, that I lose my shit. Like I would have lost my shit for a Dragon Age trailer all those years ago.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a very exciting, even slim possibility as it is. That kind of rocks just to even think about that.
Yeah, I've been so like having a couple years that like I can't imagine getting so excited about anything anymore. So just to feel childlike joy would be so. This is such a fucking depressing answer, but it's just the truth.
You know what I know the thing that will trigger it for me in particular is if my friends, like if the group chat gets hype over it, I'm probably gonna lose my shit. Because that's like that puts it back into that space of like it's real gaming again for me and not content.
Yeah, all right. That's fair.
And like that, like honestly, if my friend group, in particular, a couple of my friends who are Dragon Age fans who love Inquisition, who have been waiting, but like they're not waiting how I'm waiting. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess it was a long time ago when Dragon Age came out. You know what I mean? Like it's not as big a deal if you're not paying that close attention to it. If they get hype, my hype will go through the roof. Because then it'll be Dragon Age again and not Dragon Age content.
Yeah, I get that. In like I've never been around for a Dragon Age release because I got into the series after Inquisition was released. So despite how long I've been fucking doing this is my first game release and don't know how to react. Like I generally like am kind of afraid of the insurgence of people on my spaces. You know, I'm so used to I'm going to say it, dead fandom. It's not even dead even, but it's a very quiet fandom that all these new people, I'm just going to be like, who are you? Get out of here. So.
Yeah, not a dead fandom, just a sleepy one. Just kind of groggy at the moment.
Yeah, so I will say like I am a part of fandoms that are dead. Like, you know, I would say Sailor Moon is more dead than Dragon Age, and Sailor Moon's like super fucking popular, but like I just don't really see as much of the content. I see a bunch of merch, but that's about it. And, you know, and like, well, I say dead fandom. Like, there's a new movie for Sailor Moon coming out that's coming in a couple months, and like everyone's kind of like, "Oh, yay, that's it." Some people are excited, but I don't really see that much hype about it.
Right.
Meanwhile, every single game conference, I see so many people hyped of maybe this year will be the year, put on the clown makeup, waiting for Dragon Age 4. And every year they're disappointed.
In a way, we've gotten good at waiting. Have we all gotten a little more cynical? I think it's fair to say that we have, but we've also gotten better at waiting. So if it's another year of conferences where it isn't that moment of the trailer with the release window and everything, that's still okay. If it's next year's conferences or if it is ones later this year, I'm kind of good either way. And like I said, it's like a reserved, tentative reigniting of excitement. It's coming, and that's kind of a good feeling.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Well, we're getting into just a whole nother fucking episode territory and not a half. So I think every half episode has been about 40 minutes. So like this I guess tracks.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I say we end it here. So I guess with that, do we do formal endings? I don't know. I'm Ghildirthalen. He's Exalted March. Look up that shit.
That's it. That's all. We're done. It's 0.5. That's what we're doing.
0.5. We're lazy.